Saturday in Southern California. The two best programs in conference history will clash once again inside a storied arena. Six-time national champion UCLA against the 10-time titleist, the Red Rocks from the University of Utah. It's all live on the Pac-12 networks inside Pauley Pavilion. And once again, both teams are among the nation's best. Right now, the Bruins sit at number 5, and the Red Rocks have settled in at number 7. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Los Angeles. Jim Watson, the Olympic gold medalist. It's Amanda Borden. Utah comes into Southern California with a little momentum. Even though Utah hasn't won here at Pauley since 2008, they have a pretty good winning streak, and they're coming off their best score of the season on Monday at Arizona. Samantha Partika was awesome, season best on 3 events. Well,
there were a lot of questions for Utah because they lost their top all-arounder, Kari Lee, and who was going to fill those spots? Well, Samantha Partika answered everybody's questions. Last year as a freshman, she was a vault specialist. Monday was her college debut as an all-arounder. She was clean and consistent across the board, but man, her floor routine was something to watch. She had a 9.975, and now I think she's gained confidence and is ready to lead this team.
Utah won all 4 events against the Cats, but UCLA lost all 4 at California. The Bruins now looking to bounce back behind the uber-consistent Christine Pang Lee.
They've also had a lot of lineup changes and lost a great all-arounder in Caitlin Ohashi. The good news is, not only is Pang here and ready to have a great time, she's continuing to heal from a season thumb injury that happened earlier. She's added back into the vault lineup, 9.875 on Monday. She is a solid beam worker, and she's continuing to add her difficulty back in as well.
Bruins always have the rhythm at home. UCLA has won 4 in a row against Utah here at Pauley, but the Red Rocks have won the last 6 meetings between the two. Bruins and Utah next on the Pac-12 network. UCLA's meets always have a high production value, and today's national anthem, as sung by the Bruin gymnasts Christine Pang Lee, Alex Waller, and Hallie Mozet.
Land of the free and the home of the brave.
That is not an easy song to sing, especially when your dad's watching. That's Chris Waller, the associate head coach at UCLA, watching his daughter, Alex, and of course, 2 gymnasts that he's known since they were just little kids. I think he's more nervous watching that than he is when they're up on the beam.
For sure. I think they were more nervous. I watched them set up in practice, and you could see them all saying, this is more work than gymnastics.
And there's Valerie Condos-Field, the head coach at UCLA, of course, in her 26th season, 470 victories, and recently named the All-Century head coach for the Pac-12 Conference. She's done an awful lot here. 25 NCAA individual winners, 4-time National Coach of the Year, and 6 NCAA championships, the most recent coming in 2010. Megan Marsden also, of course, has a great history in gymnastics in her 32nd year now at the University of Utah. And Megan Marsden, part of every national championship, all 10 that Utah has ever won, either as a gymnast or as a coach. And in fact, Megan Marsden won her individual national championship in 1984, the all-around, in this building, Pauley Pavilion. UCLA begins on the vault. UCLA is top 10 in 3 events. They're actually number 10 in this event. And starting us off will be Janae Honest, a sophomore from Visalia, who's been competing on vault and vault and bars in every meet. And her season high on this event, a 9.8. She's hit that twice against Florida and against Alabama. Last 2 have been 9.775. She's looking for more.
Yurchenko layout full, the most common collegiate vault we are going to see. But I'll tell you what, I'm excited to see both of these teams being judged by the same judges in the same building. These are 2 of the stronger vault lineups you'll see, and I've seen so many different scores on the layout Yurchenko full, so I'm ready to see where these teams truly fall in this event. Remember, the start value is a 9.95, so you see that vault. Typically, it's scored in the 9.8s. We've seen a lot of 9.7s thrown on those Yurchenko fulls.
Here's your lineup for Utah as they begin on the uneven bars, which on paper is their strongest event. The Red Rocks are ranked number 3 in the country. And Samantha Partika, who we talked about in our open, talented sophomore from Katy, Texas. A couple of wins this year, but those came on the balance beam and the floor. She does have career highs on all 3 events. And here on the bars, Her first career routine came last week against Arizona, a 9-8.
Well, the reason they are so strong at this event, they have the details, the handstands like that, the difficulty and amplitude. And I feel like they're very confident. This is a great event for them to start on. They just need to stay in control and do what they do every single day in the gym, finishing double layout like that. I watched them warm up. I think I saw every gymnast stick at least one landing. Take another look right here, double layout. Lots of distance, can be difficult to stick, but you can see she gripped that mat with her toes, fought for it. That is what it's gonna take between these two teams every single 10th.
Partica's season high on bars is a 9-8. We'll get back to her score in a minute. Here's Janae Honest with a 9.75 opener for UCLA. Hands off now to Christine Pang Lee. Balance beam and only one vault so far this year because she had surgery in November toward ligament in her left thumb, and she's still coming back from that.
That's right. The vault she did last week, they said it was like she had been out here all along. Look at that.
She came back last week at Cal, her season debut on vaults, put up a 9.875 and won the event. You mentioned she has done one in 9 months.
Well, what stands out about her vault is she's got tremendous distance and she comes directly off the table, nice and straight. Nice speed and power coming in to the pre-flight. And you're gonna see she generates that nice position off the table. That keeps her direction nice and straight. She had that little bit of pike down, and of course the hop back. And like I said, we've seen the judges be very tight on those landings. Is that 1/10? Is that 2/10?
You're gonna see Christine back a little bit later in the balance beam as well. She's starting to use her hands a little bit more. That routine has changed since the last time we saw it. Samantha Partica for Utah awarded a 9.825, and for Partica, that is a new career high for her on the uneven bars. Now, Sabrina Schwab. Sabrina Schwab, freshman from Lucas, Texas, already has 2 wins this year, both on the floor, but already making a name for herself at this level.
She looks very confident in general on all the events and routines that we've seen. She stands out with her form and her body alignment. She's been a little bit short on some of her handstands. You can see just pushing back just a little bit.
Playing it safe.
But a beautiful combination there. Stalled her, double tuck. Small step on the landing.
Sabrina's best on this event is a 9.875. She hit it early in the year in their second meet against Southern Utah. That was on the road, but also matched it last week at home against Arizona. And when I say last week, I guess I'm just talking about Monday, right?
That's right.
It's just 6 days ago. Peng Lee goes 9.775. So modest numbers for UCLA so far on the vault. Again, they're ranked 10th in the country. Angie Cipra, the junior from Mesa, Arizona. Season high came in the opener here against Alabama on this event, a 9.85. She's been on the vault in every meet this year.
Big power there.
I just think she's getting better. We watched her develop, and it was a slow arc. Now there seems to be a dramatic rise in her performance.
Well, a lot of it is confidence. I heard Coach Val talking to her in the warm-ups and said, remember, vault is simple. It's all about power. Don't overthink it. And I think those are the small things that have really helped Angie figure it out, especially on this event.
She had to sub on balance beam last week at Cal because of injuries and illness to the UCLA lineup, but she is ranked number 12 in the country on the floor exercise, so you can look forward to that later on. Schwab gets just a 9.75. And Cassandra Lopez on her specialty. It used to be her only event, but same thing for Utah with injuries early in the year, graduation to the Big Four from last year. Lopez now also up on balance beam, but let's concentrate on the bars first. She's ranked number 8 in the country on this event.
She moved very quick and aggressive, and the amplitude on this, huge Tkachev, can be difficult to catch, but she is so confident in every single position. You mentioned she's only been on this event. She had an injury early in her collegiate career. I actually got to see her warming up some vaults as well, so I think we've seen some great things, and we're going to continue to see some great things from her. Nice routine.
She's so good on this event. All 4 of her scores prior to that performance are all 9.875 or better. Against Southern Utah, she had a 9.925. that's not the surprising part. What's really amazing is she won that event, and it was the first time in her career she'd ever won bars. How did that happen, being this good for this long?
Well, she is a dynamic competitor, but you can just see she's confident. The amplitude throughout that routine, and of course the perfect landing. Should be a big score.
Back over to the vault. UCLA scores are percolating up from the 9.75 to 9.775, and Angie Cipra at 9.8. And now Sadiqa Bynum, redshirt senior from Berkeley, season high 9.875, came on the road in Tucson against the Gym Cats. 38 hits in a row. Her last miss 2 years ago, 2014.
Yurchenko Arabian. That vault starts from a 10.0 also.
She's been competing on vault and core in all 4 meets. And look how deep she gets in the landing pit.
Well, a little early off the table, you can see she juts to that right side of the mat, but tremendous power, and that vault is difficult because it's a blind landing, and she stayed really clean on it.
How about the 9.925 for Cassandra Lopez, maybe making a bid for her second win in her career on the uneven bars. Tiffany Lewis, and it's a special day for Tiffany.
That's right, it's her birthday, so I know what she wants for her birthday right now.
Well, it's a big score on the uneven bars. Season highs at 9.875, came against Southern Utah on the road, but 3 of 4 have been 9.8 or better.
Nice opening combination, giant full to the Tkachev. A little short there on that handstand on the high bar. I think the difference, you have to remember, when you are at home, you get to start on the vault, and bars is your second event. Well, on the road, bars is the first event. You can see him holding back just a little bit on those handstands, something they work really hard on, but they have nailed the dismounts.
See Tom Farden, co-head coach there, just to the right in the black belt shirt. He applauds the effort. Tiffany Lewis, her career high on the event, a 9.9, came as a freshman at the Super 6. That's the finals of the NCAAs, and that was her best as a freshman. Megan Marsden in the foreground, and in the background was Meredith Polasevich. Other coaches for Utah, Sadiqa Bynum, 9.85. The numbers just keep going in the right direction. It's like a stock market ticker right now for UCLA. Madison Preston is a freshman from Loveland, Ohio. Vault in every meet she has performed on the floor once. Her season high here is a 9.825, but all her others have been sub 9.8, looking for consistency. That'll
There
do
it
it.
is.
Sure, right on cue.
I think she might have been listening.
And look at that game face. Says, I know I can do this. It's a vault, no big thing.
We're gonna see she comes off of the table directly at vertical. Right here on the block, straight up. Almost looked like her hand slipped a little bit, but she did a great job holding that body position all the way through to the finish. Yeah, that right hand slipped a little bit. Wow, talk about staying cool under pressure. She made it look easy, but that could have been a major issue.
We expect to see her on the floor and maybe on the balance beam for the first time ever. Tiffany Lewis, 9.775, and that hands off to Brianna Hughes, who has 6 victories this year, and 2 of them have come on the uneven bars. 4-year starter on this event. Her first career win came in the season high at Southern Utah. She matched it against Arizona, 9.925.
A little close there on the Tkachev. Looks like she had to break form, but good follow through there on the handstand.
A little clunky to start. Finish strong here.
Full twisting double back. Step back there. I think it's unique. These routines are still very good. We also know what Utah is capable of, and they have every single detail packed into these routines. So beautiful routine, and just that small step. I watched her warm it up and stick it perfect, and those are small details that they're going to continue to strive for meet after meet.
Considering the standard that Brianna Hughes has set, it was good, not great. 9.85 for Madison Preston, matches the high for UCLA, so back-to-back with Bynum and Preston. Sonia Mraz will finish it up. Remember, 6 compete, 5 score on each event. Mraz, season high 9.75. That might be better.
Excellent landing. You know, we watch these teams throughout the season. They come out at the beginning of the year. Very few vaults stick. And as they progress, they realize how important it is on this event. Especially the Yurchenko fulls. The judges see them over and over. A little leg separation there throughout the twist, but right there, exclamation point.
And that's only her 2nd vault of the year. She was in the lineup against Florida, put that 9.75 up. Now she's back in and in the anchor spot as well. A couple of 9.775s as Utah's drifting off here at the end of the bars, but now it's Bailey Rowe. Bailey Rowe is number 4 in the country on this event. She's averaging better than a 9.9. She has 2 victories this season already on this event and has gone 9.95.
Beautiful giant full right on top of the bar to catch up perfect distance. Transitioning down to the low bar. Finishing double layout. Wow.
Coming into this meet, all 4 of Bailey Rowe's routines have been 9.875 or better. Will that streak continue?
Well, it was pretty close. I'll tell you what, there was a little bit shy of a handstand there at the final part of the routine, but other than that, there weren't too many deductions.
We know both teams went over 49 in the first rotation. We'll add up the numbers and give them to you when we come back. It's Utah and UCLA live on the Pac-12 Network. First rotation on Super Saturday in Westwood on the Pac-12 Network, and Utah puts up a 49.2 on the bars. That is just a little bit below their season average, and their season highs of 49.475, but that's a really good opening mark for Utah, so they win the first rotation. UCLA 49.075 on vault is actually above their season average, but below their season best, which is 49.150. A lot of numbers early on because we expect these 2 teams to go to the 4th and final rotation. Still deciding this meet. Tom Farden brings the circle together as Utah will move to the vault where they're ranked number 8. Before we go forward, let's look back at Cassandra Lopez on the bars in the first rotation for the Red Rocks, where she put up a 9.925.
Well, this was a solid rotation, but this is the kind of bar routine that we are used to seeing from Utah. Big amplitude there, hitting every single handstand. You can see she is very confident. Nailing that final handstand as she finished it out, double layout. I'm not sure where they found the small deduction. That was a beautiful routine.
The 9.925 for Lopez ties a career best. Meantime, over on the vault, UCLA Sadiqa Bynum, one of 2 Bruins to receive a 9.85.
She does Yurchenko Arabian right there. You can see majority of the flip happening in a forward position, making that landing much more difficult. Because of that, it does start from a 10.0, and that definitely helped in the scoring.
So UCLA is 1-1 in conference. Utah is 2-0. And most people thought at the beginning of the season that the regular season championship would be decided on this day in this building. Inside Pauley Pavilion, Jim Watson, the Olympic gold medalist Amanda Borden, and 2 teams ranked in the top 7 in the country. Utah leading UCLA after 1 rotation. The Pac-12 Conference continued its series of all-century teams, and the gymnastics list came out this week. And at the top of that list, the Pac-12's all-century head coach, and it's UCLA's Valerie Condos-Field, who, of course, is sharing that honor with her entire Pac-12 family.
I have heard from people from 30 years back. It's been really exciting. And, you know, I think it was great for our student athletes, not just Bruins, but all across the board. I've heard from athletes from other teams and other schools. And it just brought the family together of the Pac-12 and just how amazing we are, how many championships we have won in this amazing conference. It's when you live in it, you don't realize it as much as when it's on paper and it's fact.
Well, no conference has won more national championships than the Pac-12 conference, and no school has won more championships than UCLA, 113 and counting. And Valerie Condos Field put up 6 banners inside Pauley Pavilion. Coming back, second rotation. Utah 49-2 in the first rotation on uneven bars. UCLA goes 49-075 on the vault. Now we flip, and Utah moves over to the vault, where they're ranked number 8 in the nation. Their season high in this event is a 49-250. That came at home against Oregon State. They'll start with McKenna Merrill, the freshman, at the top. She's coming off a couple of season highs, but those came on the balance beam and the floor. Her best on this event, a 9.775. Came in the second meet of the year on the road at Southern Utah.
Wow, that's the best vault I've seen her do today. She warmed up probably 5 or 6 of them. A lot of times you see college gymnasts warm up 1 or 2 and they kind of wait till the touch warm up. And that was a good choice. I think she got better and better as she went.
Freshman from Pleasant Grove, Utah, and last year a junior Olympic runner-up on this event nationally. The Bruins over on the uneven bars. This is the only event which UCLA is outside the top 10 and not by much. They're ranked number 11. Their season high on this, a 49-350, and it came on the road against number 1 Florida. Danusha Francis to lead off. First time we've seen Danusha, the senior from England, 46 straight hit routines.
Good release combination here to start the routine off. After the high bar, perfect back down to the low bar. It's a short routine because she has lots of difficulty packed in there. Finishing giant full double pipe. Excellent landing.
She's coming off a season high last week at Cal on this event at 9.85. Her career best is a 9.925. And this might land right between those two numbers. She's been good all year on that event, 9.825 and above every time. McKenna Merrill goes 9.725. Judges were unimpressed. You and I both thought it deserved a bit more.
You know, I'm still trying to find my ground here on what the Yurchenko layout full and the great ones are scoring. So this one right here by Bailey Rowe.
Bailey Rowe, 7 career wins, season high on this event, 9.825. Had it last week.
You know, she has so much power. She's dynamic. I think the Utah vaults really stand out in their body position. Legs are together, opens the arms to stop the rotation, and really the only deduction is that hop back. So considering it starts from a 9.95, you're looking at a 10th, maybe a 10th and a half total. Should still be hitting that 9.8 range. However, we've seen lots of 9.7s as we've seen every week.
Francis 9.825, and for the second time today, we see Hallie Mosette. And I say second time, we didn't see her before on the vault. We saw her singing the national anthem, and she was good. With Christine Peng Lee and Alex Waller.
She's only competing this event because she actually tweaked her knee on a bar dismount.
So she's out of the floor lineup.
Yeah, mostly just to keep her healthy. They're probably going to use her later in the season. Nice amplitude there on her Jaeger. Down to the low bar. Full twisting double back. Nice routine.
Her third uneven bars routine of the season. She put up a season high last week at Cal on this event, 9.825. And as Amanda just told you, probably the only time we're going to see her today.
Well, lots of amplitude there on her Jaeger. Perfect position on the catch, and she hit every single handstand, and whether her knee was bothering her or not, she finished this routine very strong.
$9.775 for Bailey Rowe. Here's Tiffany Lewis, who also had a 9.775 on the bars in the first rotation. Lewis on this event has a season high of 9.85, but last 3 have all been 9.8 or better, so she's been threatening a big number. Maybe it's on its way.
That's gotta hit the 9-8 range. The most height we've seen so far off of the table. Every single one of these gymnasts has incredible power. Nice position off the table, square shoulders, opens it up, a little bit of a leg separation, and pretty clean there on the landing.
I mentioned that Tiffany Lewis, after we saw her on bars in the first rotation, had a career high on that event at the NCAA Super 6. Her career high on vault also came at the NCAA Finals last year, and she was a sub in that meet. 9-9 for Hallie Mosette. And Janae Honest will go third as UCLA has tweaked its lineup a little bit. Remember, we saw Janae lead off the meet on vault with a 9.75. Well, we've seen it before from Coach Val. She likes to play a little bit of head games, and not with us and not with the other team, but with her own athletes. She likes to keep them interested, right? Doesn't want people to get into a comfort zone. Keep you guessing a little bit. Keep
That's
you sharp.
right. Keep you in check. You got to be able to play every single role on this team, whether that's the leadoff or right here in the middle. Very aggressive position to the handstands.
Honest won this event at Cal last week with a 9.875. That was her first career victory.
Well, one big thing that you notice from her is her attention to detail. When she came in as a freshman, she lacked the pointed toes, the straight legs, and it's gotten a lot better. Big distance there on the dismount, but she held on to the landing.
The crowd was expecting something from Janae Honest here because she has hit career highs in her last 3 routines on uneven bars. So she's just taking big steps each week. And I think that's why Coach Val tweaked it, put her right there. Coming off the 9.9 of Mosette. So everything was in place. The judges starting to open up the book a little bit and give better scores. Tiffany Lewis, the best so far in the vault for the Red Rocks at 9.825. Samantha Partika, she led off the meet on bars for Utah with a 9.825.
Last weekend on this event, she had a 9.775. Beautiful. Best vault yet, in my opinion. So we'll see what the judges think. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure out how they're scoring these Yurchenko layout fulls. And
only one of Partika's vaults this year has been below 9.8.
Well, just right coming onto the table. Nice tight form in the air, spotting the ground. A little bounce, but not much slide, so that should be a very little deduction. You can see holding that straight body position all the way till her feet hit the mat.
Back to the vault, so we check Honest score, 9.8. Sonia Mraz, has just one of these. We'll check it. Her season high, actually, she's hit it twice, 9.8 on this event, the bars.
Mounting right to the high bar. A little out of control there on that combination, losing form in the handstand. The major release happening right here. Perfect. Finishing it out, double layout.
Holds it, yeah. Waller's trying to help her. Ross had a 9.8 in the anchor spot on vault. Now she's in the 4 spot here on bars.
This element down to the low bar, you can see she almost overshot the handstand a little too much power, the legs separated, and of course they should be a deduction for the body alignment. But finishing here, watch this, coach hanging on, she's hanging on. Very nice.
UCLA trying to close a small gap here in the second rotation, but remember UCLA is going to close on the floor in this meet at home, and UCLA is ranked #1 in the nation on the floor exercise. So they always have that ace up their sleeve. Utah looking confident to start this meet. Utah's unbeaten overall at 4-0. They beat BYU in the season opener, went on the road to win at Southern Utah, came back home to the Huntsman Center, beat Oregon State and Arizona. We had both of those meets for you live on the Pac-12 network. Tom Farden was there, of course, in his first season as the co-head coach, but 18 years of NCAA coaching experience, dynamic recruiter. A lot of kids have come to Utah to be under his tutelage on the bars. Utah right now on the vault, 9.875 for Partika. Brianna Hughes. Hughes go 9.775 earlier on the bars. Short.
Difficult vault. Yurchenko 1.5 twist. She added on that extra half twist. Takes it to a 10.0 start value. She came up just a little bit short on it.
She has a couple of wins this year on vault and has hit 9.9 twice, but this is not going to get that high.
Well, that's why that landing is so difficult. When you come up short like that, it's just very hard to not take a large step. She did a great job of not falling down, because quite often you see that as well. So it should be a strong score, but probably not her best.
Brianna Hughes ranked number 12 in the country coming in on the vault. So 9.9, 9.8, 9.8 with a 9.825 at the very top. So UCLA's having a good rotation. And here is Melissa Metcalf.
And happy to have her back in the lineup. She's been out for a few weeks. A big bar routine here, lots of major releases. Transition down to the low bar, just a little bit of form break there.
Third bars routine of the year. She was out because of a concussion. Now she's ready to get back at it.
And wow!
Yes!
Double front, difficult dismount, very hard to stick. She nailed it.
She had a 9.85 on the road at Florida on this event. Her other scores were much lower than that.
We've seen her come up short on the dismount, but watch this. She holds on, perfect timing, waits for the mat. Knew exactly where she was, and I'll tell you what, after being out of competition for a few weeks, you would never know.
And she missed all of last year with a knee injury. So it's been a rough start for her in her career at UCLA, and that might be a high point. Brianna Hughes, 9.775. Kyla Delaney in the anchor spot on vault. Delaney, a three-time All-American on this event, 2012, 14, and 15. All three of her scores this year, 9.85.
Beautiful. I feel like we used to watch vault last year and we saw 9.9s, 9.95. So just because the start values changed to a 9.9 start value, 9.95, I still feel like we should be seeing the 9.85, 9.9s happening. And we shall see on this vault, because look at the power.
I know a lot of gymnasts don't believe this, Amanda, but judges are human. And because of all the changes in the scoring now with the Yurchenko full being downgraded, I just think it's brought judges' attention to the vault, and I think the scoring is going to be tight first half of the season, but we're at that point now. It should start loosening up.
I agree. I think that was the best vault in today's competition, and I hope to see it rewarded.
Sofina De Jesus, anchor spot for UCLA, 9.775 for Metcalf. So they're going to need one more big score. They want to lose that 9.775. Again, 6 compete, only 5 score, and UCLA was behind after one rotation. Added pressure here for Sofina De Jesus.
Beautiful Ginger, perfect forms. Winding up, full twisting double back, always comes off just a little bit early, you can see.
Stepped out of it.
Her chest was forward. You know, the dismount comes off the bar a little bit early, not generating quite enough rotation for that perfect landing. She does a really good job holding on to it, but that leaves the door open for the judges to decide what kind of deduction they should take.
De Jesus has just one score above a 9.825 that came at Florida with a 9.925. We'll do the math, come back and tell you the scores at the halfway mark. Super Saturday, number 7 Utah and number 5 UCLA. These two teams have dominated this conference. Oregon State, the only other team to win a conference championship since Utah joined the Pac-12. And look at this, in the second rotation, UCLA closes the gap. The Bruins go 49-175 on bars to Utah's 49-1 on vault. And so all the way over to the right, let me do the math for you. The difference now, Utah leads by .050. Essentially it's a tie. Let's go back and look at one of UCLA's best performances on the bars. Hallie Mozette had a 9.9, but Sofina De Jesus in the anchor spot, a 9.85. Clutch performance. UCLA needed a big score here.
That's right. And she came through. She had every single detail like that. Amplitude, hitting every single handstand. And she was pretty much flawless up to this point. Dismounting with a full twisting double back. She comes off a little bit early. Watch this. Holds on to it, but that chest is forward, and of course that step out. But it was a solid rotation.
9.85 for Sofina De Jesus, second highest score for UCLA on the bars. And the Pac-12 network, by the way, not the first foray into television for Sofina. UCLA senior got her big start on the small screen with a dancing bear named Hip Hop Harry.
When I say hip hop, you say Harry. Hip hop, hip hop. When I say
so Hip Hop Harry goes way, way back. I was about 12 years old. Hip Hop Harry was this furry, like hip hop bear. It was amazing, so much fun. I did it with my sister.
My sister will always be rooting for me. I sure will.
At the time, I was doing dancing, gymnastics, and acting and trying to juggle them all together. So I decided to audition for this show and got on it. It was like so much fun. I was like surprised when I got it. Just a great experience that I just like took to the gym and acting, and I just love performing and being on television or anything. So that was just like an amazing experience that I had.
I got to be honest, I watch a lot of TV. I don't remember Hip Hop Harry. But when Sofina says way back in the day, she's talking about 2006.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, right? It was before we had kids. Let's just go with that.
Hip Hop Harry and Sofina De Jesus. Well, one of them is still performing on the big stage, and you're looking at her. 98.3 for Utah, 98.250 for UCLA. We thought it would be good. It might be better than that. We go to the third rotation. We come back to Pauley. Halfway home in Utah with a slight lead over the host Bruins at Pauley Pavilion live on the Pac-12 network. For years, Utah's natural rival in gymnastics was BYU. But since the Red Rocks joined the Pac-12, their nemesis is UCLA. Utah co-head coach Megan Marsden talking about the heated rivalry against the Bruins.
The girls know that within the Pac-12, this is our biggest rival, and they know that this meet has a lot on it, and I think they're excited about that. And Tom and I are hoping that they can channel that excitement into great performances today.
So far, so good. Utah with the lead. Megan Marsden, her 7th year as the co-head coach. And remember, an excellent gymnast, 3-time NCAA champion, 2 times in the all-around, and in 1984, Megan Marsden won the NCAA all-around championship right here at Pauley Pavilion. And the Olympic gold medalist, Amanda Borden, and we are down on the floor at Pauley Pavilion for what is UCLA's biggest home meet of the year. UCLA number 5 in the country, and the Utah Red Rocks are number 7. Utah, 2-time defending champions in this conference, and that won't really be settled until we get to the Pac-12 championships up in Seattle in March. UCLA moves to the balance beam, where they are number 4 in the nation. Their season high is a 49-4. That came against Alabama. Michaela Gerber starts us off.
Unique mount.
She's been really consistent on this event. 2 9.8s and 2 9.85s.
Both of these beam lineups very strong, and they have great artistry throughout the routines on this event, which is tough to do. However, we have seen both teams struggle, so the key in today's competition is to put up 6 great routines. Here's the layout, step out, small balance check.
We always talk about lineups and how you stack them, and usually we end up talking about the beam. Here, Michaela Gerber offers Valerie Contersfield exactly what she wants. Someone who can put up a big number at the top of the lineup.
Yeah, you like somebody to say, hey, can I be first? That means they like that position. I think it is a very important role in the beam lineup.
And she always turns in good scores. So the danger has been minimized.
You can see she's confident in and out of every single skill. Anybody that can smile during a balance beam routine, that's a good sign. Dismounting gainer layout pull off the side.
Just what they wanted to start. Kayla Gerber, a junior from Cambridge, Ontario. She's been on balance beam in every meet. She was on floor at California for the first time this year, again because of the injuries and some illness to UCLA's lineup. How about the floor lineup for Utah? Starting with the freshman, McKenna Merrill, but you see 2 sophomores, 2 freshmen, and then weighted down with 2 seniors. They've been tweaking with this lineup, and this had been a problem for Utah until last week. Now they're ranked 26th in the country, but they are coming off a season-high 49-625 against Arizona, the 2nd highest mark in the country this year.
Well, the problems were happening at the back part of the lineup, and that's a mistake. She usually does a front double full. Not sure what happened.
Merrill put up her best score last week against Arizona, Monday, 9.85.
Combination 2.5 twist to punch front. She uses a lot of twisting elements and combination work to get those bonus 10s.
Merrill was not on bars to start this meet, and her vault, 9.725, eventually was dropped, so she's looking for a way to contribute.
Finishing front 1.5 twist. She had clean execution, you know, she just had that situation on the first tumbling pass. Could change the start value of the routine and, of course, the overall impression as well.
9.825 for Michaela Gerber to start on beam for UCLA. Sonia Mraz. Mraz anchored the vault with a 9.8. She also put up a 9.8 on bars. She's having a good day.
You mentioned earlier that they struggled against Cal, being beat on every event, but this is an event where they really had some struggles. 2 back handsprings to a layout step out, no problem there.
But their season average on this event is 49.2, which is very strong, and they've gone 49.4.
Yeah.
So that was an anomaly in Berkeley last week.
Well, and I think you have to remember they were replacing one of their all-arounders, Caitlin Ohashi. She's very strong in this event. You change the lineup, you put somebody else in, and it really can throw the rhythm off.
Yeah, it's a great point. Caitlin Ohashi out with a fractured sternum. Maybe you saw the highlight, we showed it on Monday at Arizona. The beam cap came off on her dismount, and she spilled to the ground, landed on her neck. She was checked out, was ruled to be okay, came back with a 9.825. So Ohashi's on the sidelines looking on and unable to compete. Here she is in the t-shirt.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to her and told her how impressed I was, first of all, but she said just a few weeks out and she'll be back in, hopefully in all 4 events.
Well, if you watch that fall, and by the time you and I had seen it, we knew that she was okay, and okay in air quotes, but it was a scary thing to watch. And at first they thought she was fine, and then they checked her after the meet and in the subsequent days and found out bruised sternum, so they're gonna leave her out for a little bit. I guess now it's actually been downgraded to a fractured sternum. 9.775 for Merrill. Tiffany Lewis. Lewis had a 9.775 on bars and a 9.825 on vault.
On Monday, we watched this floor lineup just continue to build and build. Tiffany has a dynamic floor routine.
She tied her career high Monday against Arizona with a 9.875.
Setting up for the second tumbling pass. Front combination pass, nice control on the landing.
Coach Megan Marsden in the background holding the papers, and right next to her, the floor coach, Meredith Polisevich.
Need a clean landing here, double tuck. Last week she scored 9.875, and then we saw the lineup continue to build, finishing with 9.9s or better. So I really think that routine mattered right now, really boosted the momentum. And that's what they're gonna need, because this is gonna be a close competition all the way to that final event. She opened huge amplitude here. Nice position on the takeoff, good form in the air. She has to open up just a little bit, stop that rotation. Lots of strength in her tumbling, finishing difficult double tuck. Very nice.
Tiffany Lewis had only one floor over 9.8 coming in, but again, that was last week, season high, and tied her career high, 9.875. So maybe she's getting hot now on the floor. Roz puts up another good number, so back-to-back 9.825s. Sofina de Jesus. Seems like every time you look up, Sofina's doing something. This will be her toughest of the day on beam. Twice she has hit 9.85 against Alabama, and last week on the road at Cal.
Moving right into her tumbling combination, front aerial back tuck. A little slow on the connection.
You want to talk about consistency. As Valerie Condersfield looking on, and we're looking right over her shoulder. De Jesus has hit 9.8 or better in 13 out of her last 14 on beam.
And I love her movement on this event, showcasing great flexibility, but she really transitions in and out of every single skill. Nice fluid dance. Creative combination down to the beam.
Going a little moonwalk, sure.
Dismounting off the end. Front layout full, yeah.
Unique dismount as well. She likes it.
I think it's fun to watch balance beam and see it put him on a show and putting elements like this.
Yeah.
This is unneeded, but it's fun, and of course the crowd loves it. We're actually gonna see the same move, also from a member on the Utah team, and you can see how difficult it is. It's 4 inches wide. Their feet don't even fit next to each other, so they have to slide around each other.
The crowd recognizes it, reacts. You know, she's so poised and so professional when she's on the beam, and then when she hits, just this explosion of energy as she runs and dives into the arms of her teammates. I think Hip Hop Harry would be happy with that. Right? 9.825 for Tiffany Lewis. And once again, we will wait to see Kyla Delaney. Delaney on the floor, a season high last week at Arizona, 9.9. They had 4 season highs on the floor. It was spectacular. They're trying to match it.
Huge double tuck to start the routine out. When she does that move in the Utah arena, the place goes crazy. Every single floor routine on this team, they show the youth throughout that choreography. Finishing combination front full. Very nice. Clean routine.
We've only seen Kyla before this on the vault, 9.85. We'll see her on the beam in the fourth rotation.
Well, it was a dynamic routine throughout. She opened big double tuck there. Lots of height. She was able to see the ground before she landed.
And for Kyla Delaney, this is really a home meet. She went to Esperanza High School, which is down in Orange County, Yorba Linda. De Jesus, 9.85. So far, really good for UCLA. 9.825s twice and a 9.85. And here's Christine Pang Lee. Well, it was called a Bluetooth routine early because she wasn't using her hands. Now her thumb is healing, so now she can use her hands a little bit more. Always creative. The Hama flares. We hadn't seen that this year.
Yes, another crowd favorite. And, you know, I think it's so great. You see so many of the same skills over and over. So when you see those unique elements, it really makes them stand out. She also is adding back in her normal tumbling series. She was performing a side aerial to that layout. Very difficult. So she said she was excited to take an aerial out and put a back handspring in right here. Back handspring to the layout. Beautiful.
Solid. This is one of the performances you come to see when you watch UCLA.
She's beautiful in this event. Difficult double turn. Dismounting side aerial.
She already has a 9.95 this year. That came against Alabama right here in their season opener.
Well, that dismount, it is so beautiful. It just makes you pause. That side aerial connected to the full, but she was able to completely set the full twist up. You do not see that very often. But because she is so technically sound, it is just gorgeous to watch. Watch this. She lifts up, huge set, almost pauses before the full twist. So fun to watch.
Starting her routine with the Hama flares. That's an homage to Leah Hama, who was part of the '97 national championship team. That was the first NCAA title team for Valerie Condos Field. And she's a big fan of history. Remember the throwback routines from last year where they borrowed from the past. Delaney, 9.875. Here's another one. If you're a Utah fan, all of a sudden this has become one that you don't want to miss. Sabrina Schwab, the freshman on floor, has already won twice this year, is averaging 9.9, and is in the top 20 nationally.
And you're going to see why. She makes the tumbling look effortless, but it's her dance and her extension.
You know, my wife made the comment watching last week on TV. She said, she just has great lines. She just looks better.
Well, you can see that on every single event, but this event she really stands out in the dance element. And she draws you in. She uses her entire body throughout this whole routine.
Remember what Megan Marsden said to us on Monday in Salt Lake City. She said when they all line up and they all do the same thing, for some reason Sabrina just looks a little bit better, right?
Well, just on a finish, she said, you know, everybody can put their hands up, and she's got that extension. If you watch her fingers, every single dance move she does extends all the way through. But it's also things like her flexibility. She has nice, beautiful long legs. All of those elements put together make her a standout on this event.
How much of that is dance training?
Or tumbling training,
Yeah,
I'm not
tumbling,
sure.
yeah.
A 2.5 twist, stuck landing.
It's a beautiful blend. Sabrina Schwab.
Well, you know, as a freshman, you know, you see them come out, you see them look strong, but then you have to say, can they do it week after week? And so far, she is getting the job done.
All four of her scores have been 9.85 or better. Again, she's a freshman. This is the beginning of her career.
Well, she is very confident on this event. Beautiful tumbling, but Where she sets herself apart is her dance elements, her beautiful lines throughout, her extension through every single move. And I'll tell you what, people think that's easy. It is not. It's also very exhausting. It makes the tumbling much more difficult, but no problem for her. Watch this, 2.5 twist, blind landing. Normally you would see an athlete step forward. She nailed it.
I tell you what, the floor at the Pac-12 Championships this year is going to be a lot of fun because there's a ton of talent in this conference on that event. Peng Peng Lee goes 9.875 on the beam, her best. And now Danusha Francis. I hate to sound redundant, but this is one of the performances you can't miss.
Start to finish, it's the flexibility, it's the beautiful dance. Nice combination there to start the routine out.
Right now, Danusha Francis is #1 in the country on the balance beam. She's been in the top 4 for 3 years.
Solid back handspring layout. Step out. You can see her personality throughout this routine.
10 times in her career, she has gone 9.95 on beam. Not going to get it this time. You have to repeat that?
Yeah, that was definitely a mistake. She needs that for her
connect
jump.
them.
Yeah, her jump combination and her bonus.
There's another look right there. Are they going to count that?
You know, it's very difficult to say what the judges are going to do as long as the movement is fluid. But of course, the most difficult part of her routine comes at the very end. The side aerial, you can see Val stepping into her sight line there, making sure she's focused. She has to land the side aerial back on the 4-inch beam and then directly connect it to the full twist. Oh, a little forward on it. You can see that foot shift a little bit.
Yeah, not her best. But you and I are spoiled because we've seen her nail this routine time and time again.
Well, watch this foot as it lands right there. That right foot so far forward, she had to shift it back. You have to have the ball of your feet.
She was on her heel.
On the balance beam, watch. There is no way to push off the mid part of your foot. So you're gonna see her toe come all the way through. She lands pretty much on the heel, has to slide it back. But anytime that you move the landing foot, the judge can say it was not connected. It can break the connection. And the risk with that is because it's only a full twist, it has to be directly connected from that D element.
Well, that is going to hurt UCLA's score overall on the balance beam. 9.95 for Sabrina Schwab. She just continues to put up exceptional performances on the floor. Brianna Hughes. Scores on the floor have gone up in each meet. Career high for her last week, 9.925 against Arizona.
You can see her gaining confidence every single meet. We've talked about it. This Utah team lost 4 big seniors last year, and she has really stepped up. And of course, Kari Lee, one of their top all-arounders, also going down at the beginning of the season with an Achilles injury. Strong combination.
Those 4 big graduated stars, Georgia DeBritz, Corey Lothrop, Tori Wilson, and Becky Tutka, the first 3 all-around champions in this conference. 50 wins among those 4, all gone at once.
And we talked about the struggles for Utah on the floor exercise. Of course, those 4 athletes were big, powerful floor routines for them, so they had to replace them. They also had to replace Kari Lee. And that is where I think some of the difficulty this season has come, but they are starting to figure it out, and they have really been counting on Brianna, and she has hit another routine. Good for her.
Every week her scores have gone up. Now she's going to have to try and top a 9.925 from last week. They feel a lot better about this floor rotation now because 2 weeks ago, they were scrambling. The first 3 weeks, it wasn't good. They had breaks, they had problems.
That's right, and they've put up 5 solid routines. Remember, they only have to count 5 scores. So that last routine is really icing on the cake.
Danusha Francis awarded a 9.825.
I think that is a little high for the routine that she did. She had that slip up.
I agree.
On the split jump and then a questionable dismount, which obviously they gave her that skill.
Generous. Madison Preston had a 9.85 earlier on vault.
And this is her first balance beam routine as a collegiate gymnast. They put her last for a reason. And the good news is they have 6 solid scores. Oh, freshman mistake there. Just a little lacking confidence in that landing position. Beautiful flexibility.
UCLA already has a solid score here on beam. They're already at 49-2.
Dismounting front 1.5 twist. 6 for 6. Pretty impressive.
And I think for Coach Val, she got what she wanted out of that rotation. She got the good leadoff score. Gerber's 9.825, and then at the end, she was able to get Preston that great experience, and they didn't need a score from her because they already had pretty good marks across the board.
Yeah, and a recovery from last week. They had 2 falls on the balance beam against Cal, so that is very important rotation for them.
Look at that. So you go 9.875 with Delaney, Schwab 9.95, Hughes 9.9, and now Samantha Partika. So things are looking up for Utah here on the floor. She too is coming off a career high last week at Arizona. One of the judges gave her a 10. She ended up with a 9.975. So look out.
Big combination there to start. Back 1.5 twist to the front 1.5 twist.
And just like Hughes before her, Partika's scores have also gone up on this event each week. Look at Tom Barton in the corner. He looked completely unimpressed until the landing.
He stays cool and calm, but she nailed both of those first tumbling passes. We talked about her last year with the powerhouses they had at the top in their senior class. She was a vault specialist. Well, now she's come out doing all around and has quickly become a star of this team.
Amanda, Utah already has on the floor a 49.325 in the books. The lowest score, McKenna Merrill at 9.775. So if Partika goes over 9.775, Utah's got a chance to be in the same neighborhood they were on Monday night against Arizona with that 49.625, which is huge.
Wow, that was a huge routine right there. She was clean start to finish. It's her details. Perfect form in the air on the combination and twisting passes, and clean landings.
And Megan Marsden and the Red Rocks are trying to build the lead as they will finish on the balance beam. Now for most teams, that's a weakness, but for Utah, number 5 in the country.
She really made all this tumbling look effortless. Clean throughout. Finishing right here, 1.5 twist. That pass can be difficult because it's so hard to keep the form in the air. And of course, a perfect landing.
As expected, Super Saturday is going to come down to the 4th and final rotation. UCLA moves to the floor where they're number 1 in the nation. Well, both teams have to be ecstatic with the scores they put up in the 3rd rotation. First off for Utah with a 49.425. That's their 2nd best floor score of the year after last week's 49.650 against Arizona. UCLA on the balance beam goes 49.2, which is their average. But of course, they've had some holes in the lineup and shuffling the order. So UCLA's very excited about that. But now we'll go to the 4th rotation, and Utah has its biggest lead of the day, and UCLA will try to rally on its best event, the floor. UCLA is the best college gymnastics team in the country, on the floor. Utah will try to protect it on the balance beam. Let's go back and look at that third rotation, beginning with Danusia Francis on the balance beam. She had some trouble, still got a pretty good score.
That's right, at 9.825, we were questioning if the judges were going to give that dismount. They obviously did, but here was why. Watch when she landed, that right foot came all the way through, and then she had to slide it back, which then questions the connection. And of course, Sabrina Schwab on floor, another phenomenal routine for her. Perfect tumbling, sticking her 2.5 twist dismount, and a 9.95 for her.
And a 9.95 for the second consecutive week. She did it on Monday. You know what? Let's just call it this week. It was Monday to Saturday. She's done it twice in 6 days. A freshman. Utah leads 147-725 over 147-450. UCLA puts on the rally caps. There is Utah's Kari Lee, who is out for the season with an Achilles injury, and that was a big blow to them. She was an all-arounder, 3-time All-American, and one of the best gymnasts in the country, but she'll have to wait until next year. And I talked to her about it last week. I asked her, was it painful? She said, no, I didn't really feel a whole lot. I knew something was wrong. Felt like rubber band snapping, but there wasn't a lot of pain with it.
You know, that's what a lot of people say about those Achilles, and I know she'll come back great, like we've seen so many other athletes.
We've seen them come back from it before, and we're looking forward to seeing Kari Lee next year. Utah with a 147-725 over UCLA's 147-450. That's the score here. We're not finished. This is from last night. #1 Florida beaten last night by Georgia. There's great gymnastics in the SEC, so it's not a shock to see Georgia beat Florida, but it is news. Oklahoma puts up its best score of the year, a 197-925. That's not the best score of the year, though. Florida has a 198 earlier. And also LSU beating Arkansas. That was 6 against 8. But you see a lot of 197s and deep 197s right now. UCLA and Utah are teams that are still building their resumes. And of course, everyone is looking forward to when the RQS comes out. That's the regional qualifying score, and you need 6 scores for that, 3 of which have to come on the road. That's when we really know who's #1 in the country. Right now, Utah's #7. They will finish on the balance beam, where they're #5, trying to protect the lead. UCLA's #5 in the nation, but #1 on the floor. So UCLA's last chance for the comeback. We've seen them do it before. Now they have to do it against one of the best teams in the country. Young Bruin fans keeping up the energy inside Pauley Pavilion. UCLA is 1-0 at home this year. They beat Alabama in their season opener. A reminder for you, next Saturday, it's another top 25 women's gymnastics doubleheader beginning at 6 o'clock Pacific. These same Red Rocks, ranked #7, go head-to-head with Washington. They're expecting another sellout crowd of 15,000 at the Huntsman Center in Salt Lake. And then at 8 o'clock, #5 UCLA will host #15 Oregon State. That's always a big meet. Tanya Chaplin, head coach at Oregon State, and her husband Mike Chaplin, both UCLA gymnasts back in the day. Women's gymnastics doubleheader coverage begins next Saturday, 6 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Mountain on the Pac-12 Network, or watch on Pac-12 Now and pac-12.com. And Monday, 48 hours from now, you and I are going to be in Seattle as Washington, who's 2-0 in conference, by the way. And Joanne Bauer said we're going to surprise people. They have. They just beat Stanford at the Metroplex. They're going to be hosting Oregon State.
That's right. It's always exciting, and I think at this part of the season, we start seeing every team really rise to the occasion and really start stepping it up for the Pac-12 Conference Championship.
Martika just was the anchor on the floor, 9.875, and now she opens on balance beam. Final rotation, Utah with the lead.
This event tough, no matter where it falls in the lineup for the team.
Martika has a victory this year on balance beam. She had a 9.9 at Southern Utah.
Remember, she was the final performer on the floor. She had to come straight over to the balance beam, get warmed up, and be first up here. Solid side aerial combination. very calm. We talk about it all the time. Every athlete kind of finds their own rhythm, what makes them perform the best on this event. Dismounting 1.5 twist. Outstanding. That is a big routine to start that rotation. I'll tell you what, she didn't have a balance check throughout. She was solid, clean.
That's a great day for Partika. She already had a 9.875 on vault, a 9.875 on floor, and a 9.825 on bars, and this is going to be above those numbers.
I think that's going to beat those scores for sure.
Wow, big day for Partika. UCLA doesn't have anybody in the all-around today, so Utah will win that. But right now the Bruins just concentrating on the floor. The comeback has to begin right here with Michaela Gerber.
You know, last week there were so many lineup changes that Michaela only got to warm up in the 3.5-minute touch for this event and then got thrown in the lineup and had no problem with it. In fact, she scored a 9.8. So now she got, a little short there on that first tumbling pass. She got to warm up today as well as the touch.
This is just her second floor of the season.
Combination whip to the 1.5 twist, right to that white line.
Michaela has already posted a 9.825 on beam, her only other event today.
Held on to it and thought she was going to come up a little bit short. She had that low landing,
yeah, a little
large
bobble
step forward at the beginning, but finished great.
After that, very clean. And again, remember, 6 compete, 5 score. So UCLA is going to take their top 5 and try to close this gap. .9.875 for Partika. That gives her a 39.450 in the all-around. That's a career high for Partika in the all-around.
And it's a great score. I still thought there was very little deduction, and I know a 9.875 is a big score, but I thought I was going in the 9.9s.
Brianna Hughes second up has a pair of 9.775s and a 9.9 on floor.
Solid finish there. She looked a little wobbly throughout, but the landing was great.
She just hasn't looked sharp today. Good, but not great.
Well, I think something unique is to do all around on Monday and then again on a Saturday. And that really could be challenging. You don't see that many all-arounders. In fact, in tonight's competition, it's just her and her teammate, Partika.
Brianna has 6 wins in her career. All have come this year. 1 in the all-around, 2 on the vault, 2 on the bars, and 1 here on the beam.
And a stuck landing.
Well, I don't know if it's going to beat the 9.9 on floor, but it could be close.
It was a great routine throughout. Dismounting with that combination, side aerial to the full twist. Spots the ground, and that's the difference. She's a senior. She knows how important that landing is. And it always feels good to have that event over with.
Just a 9.675 for Gerber, so UCLA really wants to forget about that and start from here. Madison Preston has had a pretty good day. 9.775 on beam. and began the afternoon with a 9.85 on floor. Maddie Preston has just one floor so far this year. It was a 9.875 at Arizona. She's very dramatic in her presentation, right? And not just here on the floor.
Unusual for a freshman.
Right.
Very confident in her performance. Opening combination front through that double tuck.
We saw it on beam as well. Some people just like to perform. I believe you were like that. Yeah.
Definitely my favorite event for this reason.
And of course, the choreography is Coach Val's forte.
Well, you can just see her amplitude and power. The music matches that. Very dynamic.
UCLA floors are always unusual, always unique. There's Randy Lane, assistant coach in the background in the blue shirt.
Beautiful form in the air on the double pike.
The Bruin crowd is starting to understand that they're watching something here that can start the comeback.
She knows it too. Very excited. She opened the routine with a nice combination pass, front through to the double tuck. But it's her speed and power. She doesn't even come close to the white line because she has such good precision and technique. And then between the tumbling, the dance was just phenomenal. Really drew you in, showed her personality.
So as UCLA tries to rally on the floor, Utah is protecting its lead on the balance beam, the 9.875 for Partika. Hughes 9.85. And here's Cassandra Lopez. Lopez forced into the balance beam lineup this year. This is just her third. She had a 9.8 on Monday night at home against Arizona. And already today has a 9.925 on her best event, the bars.
Back handspring layout, step out.
Try to cover that a little bit.
Yeah.
And throw the right hand down.
Yep, took a step back. She makes the beam look springy on this front tuck. Absorbs the landing though, very nice. The beam does have a little spring, but it is not like the floor, so that is all her. What's left is the dismount. Double full.
Very good. That's 3 for 3 for Utah to begin the beam rotation. We showed Kari Lee, the injured Utah gymnast, on crutches with that Achilles. If she's looking for inspiration, Cassandra Lopez tore her Achilles back in 2014 and has come all the way back.
That's right, I remember that, and she's done a great job kind of sitting tight, performing on the bars a lot for this team, and now we see her in the beam lineup. We saw her warming up on the vault. I think that we're going to see a lot of great things coming this season from her.
Madison Preston with a 9.925, by far her career best. Danusha Francis. So UCLA needs 5 big scores. They have 1.
Well, she is capable of doing that. This routine is unbelievable to watch, showcasing unique choreography, her flexibility.
She has a 9.875, but she's been inconsistent on the floor this year so far.
Solid there.
In her career, she has 5 scores of 9-9 or better. Her career high was a 9.95 against Nebraska last year. They would love something over 9.9. They need something over 9.9. As I recall, this tempo changes. Is that right?
That's right, it's coming. Beautiful 2.5 twist. I think you watch these floor routines and you have to always remember that Val, right there,
here you go.
is always gonna have something that might catch you off guard or shock you. She really stays focused on the fact that she wants this to be a show and a performance.
And she designs these routines to match their personality, and Danusha's just playful.
Oh,
Stayed in?
I believe she did.
I do not see a flag up. Remember, last year was all about Bond. That was her entire routine. She kept in a portion of it because it was so popular. So maybe a small deduction there at the end.
That's right, she took the 2 steps back, but I believe she stayed in the bounds.
So we'll see if it holds on in the 9-9 neighborhood. Meantime, Utah rolling, 9.875, 9.85. Lopez throws on a 9.85. And Kyla Delaney. Season high 9.825 came against Oregon State.
Step out. Another great job. You could tell she wasn't perfectly straight. She was patient, settling into that landing.
Utah began this rotation leading by more than 3/10. Now their lead is 2/10.
Perfect layout step out in combination with that wolf jump. Dismounting gainer layout full.
Sure, that's 4 for 4.
She's a very dynamic athlete. Lots of amplitude on her skills. Finished this routine right here, fighting for the landing with that gainer layout full off the side. Nice set.
So far on each event, each team has gone better than 49. You can see why these two teams are ranked in the top 10 every year. Danusha Francis, 9.825, so they dinged her there at the end of that routine. Sonia Mraz is becoming a house favorite here, isn't she? Excuse me, Sofina De Jesus.
Opening front double full. Well, I think so many of the fans that come to these meets wait for this event and these routines, and you can see why. They do these big tumbling passes and then put on a show in between.
Oh.
Stuck that landing.
Yes, she did.
Student section going crazy.
De Jesus already has a pair of 9.85s on bars and beam.
Get her game face on for this final tumbling pass. Combination. Wow.
Oh, sure. Man, I don't think we've seen that, right? This is her first floor of the year.
That's the first time I've seen it in person.
Oh, look at that. They're asking for 10.
Well, that final tumbling pass, at first I thought she had made a mistake. And then just in case we were worried, just drops right into the splits.
Yeah, they want it. Now they're begging for 10. I don't know. It had just about everything.
Well, it was fun to watch. The performance was phenomenal, but of course, as we all know, the tumbling, very important. Look at the height. Right here, double tuck, but it's the landing. Difficult to do on this event. You see most athletes lunge back, and then she went into her hip-hop moves.
And salutes the crowd. Yeah, I want to see that one again. Safina De Jesus for UCLA got this crowd excited. Remember, Utah was leading by 2/10. We'll try and give you an updated number here. 9.875 for Delaney. You got to admire what Utah is doing on the beam.
Yeah, we know this event is difficult no matter what, but we also talk about ending on this event versus ending on the floor exercise. Always
Utah's
a challenge.
4 for 4, so they close with Bailey Rowe, and then they have Maddie Stover in the anchor. They only need one more good score, and that might be enough. Might be enough.
Challenge check there.
The lead was 3/10 to begin the rotation. Last we checked, it was 2/10. Now it's down to 0.15. UCLA is closing. Pressure on Bailey Rowe.
Difficult series here. Two back handsprings to the left. Step out. She looks confident.
Very nice. Bailey Rowe has a victory on the balance beam. Season highs at 9-9 against Oregon State. It's her only score over 9-8 this year.
Wow, great job. She landed that with her feet completely on the side of the beam.
To stay on. Goes in at home, that moonwalk and the tip of the cap. And of course, she performs to some Michael Jackson, so it all comes together. But on the road, it's a different story here. Have to work for everything.
Yeah, you can see in her face that's not her best routine. She stayed on the beam, which I think is a really important thing. She had some balance checks throughout, but watch this. When she lands this, her feet are completely on the left side of the beam there. The big toe and that whole left foot.
How does she fight her momentum there? Watch, she shifts her hips and stays on the beam. That's remarkable.
She does it because she does that every single day, learning to stay on the beam even when you're not straight. However, those balance checks throughout came up a little bit short on the dismount. I think that's going to be the routine they're going to want to drop.
De Jesus, 9.925. That's the second for the Bruins. Here is Angie Sipra, who's number 12 in the country on the floor, averaging better than a 9.9. 3 of her 4 scores this year have been 9.9 or better, and she's really fun to watch on this.
Lots of personality in this routine. Huge air there on the double tuck.
She's just a great dancer.
Jim, did you leave your phone on?
Always.
The whole team gets into it. They have fans getting into it. People acting like they're calling her in the middle of the routine. Oh yeah, and then we still have tumbling to go.
Right. Oh yeah, very clean. Janusha Francis is losing her mind over here. Her teammates are getting more excited than the crowd. Sipra's already posted a 9.8 on vault, looking for something north of 9.9. She's got to come through for the Bruins to win this beam.
Well, she was clean. I think that was so far the best routine I've seen her do personally.
Yeah. That was special. And again, they won a 10. Yeah, I think the judges have already sent word that they're not giving out any 10s today. And De Jesus was a 9.925. Judges are fickle creatures. Utah's trying to stay in the zone, and Maddie Stover, who's from Southern California and comes out of Wildfire Gymnastics. They have about 100 people from their club team, her old team, here at Pauley, cheering her on, and they have a meet later today. So the crowd continues to cheer the scores over on floor. Stover's got to stay locked in.
But this is a challenge. Both teams are on a good roll here, but we all know this event is like no other. I didn't want to say anything. That was the element she made a mistake on at home. She scored a 9.275. We both looked at each other and said, not Maddie, we've never seen her make a mistake on this event.
After the last floor, Utah's lead has shrunk to .025. I'll give you A.G. Sipper's score in a moment. Sadika Bynum still to close for UCLA on floor. Remember, last year Stover was the leadoff all year long, including at the NCAA Finals. Now she's the anchor.
And nailed it.
Always that smile. So the Utah fans are here. There's a lot of Southern California fans who are donning some red just for this meet. Maddie Stover from Fullerton and Troy High School. It's about 45 miles south at Pauley Pavilion. So has Utah done enough? 9.975 for Angie Sipra. Well, that's a career high for her and couldn't have come at a better time. Sadika Bynum, last chance for UCLA. We'll try and do the numbers and tell you what she needs. We need one more beam score. We'll pass it along. Meantime, Bynum just has to go for it.
She's a huge first tumbling pass. We've seen her go out of bounds. Gotta stay in control. Right to the white line, but I don't think the heel went down.
She's clean. Last time on this floor was the season opener against Alabama, 9.95 for Sadika Bynum.
Double tuck down this side. Every routine is something unique between the performance, the tumbling.
It's hard to watch the performer because the teammates are just as fun in the background. Sadika Bynum needs better than a 9.925. 9.925 ties this meet. Anything better, and UCLA wins. She's close. She's close.
Wow. We knew this was going to be close.
So 6,000 at Pauley now are going to have to wait for the judges to do the math. Don't run off. It's a photo finish in Westwood on Super Saturday. Here's your headline. They did it. UCLA puts up a season high 49.6 on the floor, even though Utah put up a season high 49.350 on the beam, and the Bruins win it by .025. Utah is beaten for the first time this year. UCLA puts up its season best, and Angie Sipra, one of the heroes on the floor, the high score of the day for anybody, a 9.975. It is our pure silk pursuit of perfection. She was nearly perfect.
She was. She had the big tumbling, lots of personality. The crowd absolutely loves this routine. Everybody was in it and having a great time watching it.
All right, so for UCLA, the 197.1 now, all of a sudden vaults the Bruins, and Utah puts up a 197.075. Both of these teams go 197. Now you're talking about Florida, you're talking about Oklahoma, you're talking about Georgia. Now all of a sudden these two teams are back in that national conversation.
Well, this was a great day for both teams to break through. It was very close throughout. We knew that was going to happen, but when I talked to both coaches, they wanted to come in, both do their best, see where they stack up, so they both know what they need to do as they head into the Pac-12 championship, which is just over a month away.
For UCLA, it is a season high. For Utah, it is just their second best score, but Utah is getting healthy and looking good. You saw Maddie Stover there right in the middle for Utah. We do want to pass along her beam score. Once again, Stover goes 9-9. So UCLA trailing most of the afternoon and set it up for the floor exercise where they're #1 in the nation, and they just proved it with a statement, 49-6. And UCLA wins it by the smallest of margins, 0.025 over the Red Rocks of the University of Utah. For UCLA, they'll move on down the road as the Pac-12 season continues. Utah going home to face Washington on February 13th. For Amanda Borden, I'm Jim Watson. So long from Pauley.